I am Michalis. I built this for founders. Welcome to the Founder's Voice. Welcome to the Founder's Voice with today's very special guest, the kid from Dubai that rose to become an international DJ icon. DJ BLISS, welcome to the Founder's Voice.
Thank you for having me.
How do you feel today? How did you start your day?
I had a pretty good day today. It was pretty chilled. Woke up, hung out with the kids a little bit, played with them, took them for a walk to... we have like these groceries in our neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like when we were growing up, like we used to call them bakalas. Like they're you always see like a little neighborhood grocery. So I told the kids like we'll go for a walk there. Came back and then I got ready and I came here.
Yeah, I'm glad you make it. You made it. As I mentioned before, it's a new podcast, and I really appreciate when people trust things when they are new and they trust the quality. And hopefully, we get to a good result out of this podcast. Which
absolutely. I mean, I never really like look at when we get requests for like to do podcasts. I mean, I don't do a lot of podcasts first of all, or like interviews as such. I try to keep private most of the times, but then there's times where I feel like I want to speak. And I don't really look at like sort of like what numbers they have or what they've done. Right. If I feel like if there was a situation where it came about, like the universe has put this in front of us. If I saw a DM or you sent an email or it got to us somehow, we do it. So when I got the request from you, I'm like, let's do it. Let's have a look.
Nice.
And everybody starts somewhere. You have to try. And I always tell people this. It doesn't matter if you just started or you don't have a lot of followers or views. Like you have to always take your chance. Like better to knock on some doors. Somebody might open the door and
exactly.
Instead of sitting at home wondering if anyone will.
That brings me again to the Kid from Dubai song. You have to start from somewhere. You have to start small to get big one day, right?
Absolutely. I mean, it's just, I think part of I think this rule also just applies to anything in life, any dream, any ambition, any project, job, whatever you want to do.
Right.
You have to start somewhere, and sometimes the journey can be pretty long, and sometimes it could be short. It's you and what destiny has planned for you, or your luck, as people like to call it. And the more work you do, or the more effort you make for it, I think the more fruits that you get from it. And I think that's been the story for me, and that was a story on The Kid from Dubai. When I made the song, it was really just to kind of like show people or explain that things can take a lot of time. It's not always just quick, and you have to start somewhere. That's for sure.
So you're the founder of BLISS Entertainment and a Dubai icon in the music industry. How does it feel to be someone or to be recognized as someone who has shaped the region's entertainment scene?
I mean, it's a great honor, just to hear that. It's I've been doing this for a long time. I've had a history and like a full radio career. I used to do like a morning show on a radio station. TV presenter on television. Yes. Like I used to host shows on TV, and I used to host a lot of like events. I had a big like media personality career that I did, but I started DJing. That was my first thing. So I was a DJ first, then I got into radio, then got into TV, and then I always had a real love for the DJing part of it, because even though the other parts of it like helped play a role in everything that happened, I really felt like my real passion was just being in a DJ booth and playing music, and then started making music and started building this real life connection. Like it was in real time. Radio was cool, but
instant results, right? Instant results.
Radio was live,
right,
but I couldn't see the faces. TV was same thing, was broad, it was global, but I couldn't meet the people. DJing was like I can see the reaction of the face, so I always had a real passion or interest for that. So as this was going on, I built a company called BLISS Entertainment, and under it we built a lot of like different brands. it was mainly just to help manage like my bookings and all my in-house stuff. And I was getting brand deals. I was doing TV.
Yes.
I was doing radio. I was DJing. I was throwing like events, like some of the biggest parties
Yeah,
here
I
in
saw the
Dubai.
Coca-Cola Arena event. I think this is the major event. Right?
Yeah, that was a really huge event. and it was-
17,000 capacity, biggest capacity in Dubai, right?
I mean, you know, we did it for the first time and organized the whole thing ourselves. So
Yeah.
it was pretty hard to do, and it was a big learning curve. But you know, I always tell people it's a great story because like we're here, like even till today, I get people who ask me about that question or like bring it up. And if you actually walk in Coca-Cola Arena,
Yeah.
they have like a hallway where they've put up all the posters of all the artists that have played there, and you'll every
The
time
Hall
I
of
walk
Fame,
through,
basically.
it's like and I'm
Yeah.
on there. So it's pretty cool, you know. So, you know, being the kid from Dubai and growing up in that area over there, like I've seen the Coca-Cola Arena get built up before there was like nothing but sand over there.
Yeah, that's actually the inspiring part about your profile. You are not someone who migrated to Dubai and became famous while Dubai was already famous. You were part of that journey. You shaped Dubai. You know what I mean? And that's the inspiring part.
I mean, I'd like to think I was, you know, part of the fabric that, you know, when it was being built, because I do remember there were days like early, you know, when we had like these online messengers or chats, like if you'd be talking to somebody around the world and you'd say Dubai, they'd say where? Like they didn't even know
This is
where it
insane.
was. And now, like when I tell somebody Dubai, they're like, wow. You know, I always tell the people the story about how Dubai changed from where to wow.
This is one of my questions I had. How did nightlife look like when you performed like 15 years ago, for example? It must be a huge difference, right? In terms of crowd, in terms of venues, in terms of everything.
I mean, to be completely honest with you, not a lot has changed in nightlife as such, like inside the club. Like the only thing that's really changing is the people, right? The generations are changing, the type of music is changing, but we've been having like healthy nightlife for a long time. I feel like now it's become very like international in terms of like the amount of artists who come here, and like the shows have gotten bigger, and Dubai's able to do like mega festivals now with the amount of people who are here. But you know, the clubs were always there. You know, they were always around. And like, you know, when I look back, like even 10, 15 years ago, there was, you know, different clubs for different opportunities. They weren't as big. You know, I will admit they weren't as big, and they didn't have this much following or this amount of clubs.
Yeah.
But you know, as far as what they were like, they were always there.
Interesting. Very, very good insights, I would say.
I remember I was like, you know, I had just started going to like maybe my first club. I just started DJing, and there was a club where Media City is right at the corner. There used to be a Hard Rock Cafe with the two guitars. Like if you're from Dubai, you'll remember the story. And next to the Hard Rock Cafe, there's a club called Amnesia or Atlantis at that time. It was one of those names. And this place, like it was the first kind of like big club, and like to go there, it was like, oh my god, we have to like find someone who drives, and going to like that place was like
book in advance and whatever.
Book in advance and all of that. But it was a pretty cool club. You know, the inside it felt like you were like in this like underwater world. It was a pretty cool club. So we've had like pretty good nightlife for a long time. But you know, naturally with a city like Dubai and the way it's evolving so quickly, like things change and become better.
I want to elaborate also more on your journey. For example, you were, as you mentioned, you were born and raised in Dubai. And years later, you find yourself playing next to world's biggest artists like Beyonce, Nicki Minaj, 50 Cent, Martin Garrix. How does that feel to play in the city where you're originally from, next to this kind of scale?
I mean, you know, when you put it like that, it means everything to me. Especially like you said, like just doing it in your own city. Because I was born and raised here, I never, you know, there was a lot of opportunity for me to leave and go somewhere else as well. You know, for studies, for work, in the background of what I was doing in terms of TV, and you know, there were always offers. But you know, I was born and raised here in this city, and
It's a home game, basically, right?
Home game, yeah.
The psychology is different.
I think it's always a lot easier to go out and do it outside of your city, because you know, when people know you over here, it's a lot harder to convince them that you're trying to do something different, because we grew up together. Like these are all like people, they saw me come up, so you know, they don't see me as someone who like, you know, moved over here and built something over here. So to do those things, I mean, yeah, I mean, to be honest, a lot of the stuff I did was at a time where maybe it didn't even really connect with me that that's really what I'm doing. I think just now looking back at it and when you're mentioning all these names, there were a lot, and a lot of them were in this city too. But I have this my goal now is really to go even further, to be in a list of names like that where somebody's mentioning it to another artist, and be recognized for that person who made it from this city that big to that level, and just to also continue to inspire kids. And even going back to the song Kid from Dubai, it's about me, but it's a song that anybody can listen to, because there's another kid from Dubai who's maybe going through it or needs that motivation.
Yes.
There's a lot of kids who are moving to Dubai right now who will be the future kids from Dubai. So I always tell everyone the song is for everyone. It's a story, and it's there's a story that's being written for Dubai, because it's such a new place as well.
Exactly, and
it has over 50 years.
Yeah. It has a meaning, right? It's not just a song that came out for the rhythm, for people to dance, whatever. It's a song which gives a good overview about your profile, about where you came from. Especially, I remember one specific or two lines of your lyrics that go, my mama told me, stay humble in your lane.
Yeah.
And I forgot the...
Now I light up every stage. Remember every name.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this one shows that you came from a very humble background. And I think, considering where you are now, it gives a very empathetic impression about your profile.
Yeah. I mean, my mom or my parents, both of them actually, it was a very important, because the question I used to get a lot is, how did you do this career with the culture, with your background, being in Emirati? I mean, it may sound maybe right now, because you've been here only 2 years, so you don't really understand the culture behind it. Previous to this, let's say before 5 years ago, it was a very common question. But what did your mom and dad think about it? How did they let you do that? Because it's not very common.
It's more conservative culture.
More conservative culture, and it was a lot more conservative. Since the Dubai 5 years ago is not the Dubai that you see right now here today. Things are changing and evolving, very fast. But I always kept my mom and dad in mind. I knew that whatever I did, they need to see and approve, and what life that I was going to live. So it was always important for me to listen to them, and that was some of the key advice that my mom always used to tell me, about being humble was super important.
Yes,
because obviously she used to see me and what I was doing, and I was really everything I did it to the max and to the best. I never ever did anything just mediocre.
Yes.
And I think my mom saw that. And when you're in that place, when you're doing great and all these things, sometimes you can come face to face with your ego, and it can get the best of you. And I think my mom always looked out for me in that sense, and she used to always really calm down, and remember. And we're very we're very close with the family as well. We don't miss every Friday. We all get together at my parents' house for Friday lunch. My mom cooks for all of us, and all my brothers are there, and my sister, and all my...
Yes, it's very important that the family is behind you. Even people say everyone goes his own way, or her own way. But if your family supports you, there's a completely different style of how you look at things. You develop things. You are passionate about things. If your father and mother are next to you and are supporting you, you do them with a completely different mentality, I would say.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, even my mom, she checks my stuff on Instagram as well. So I'm really careful about what I post. And my kids are in school now, and
Yes.
we get a lot of attention because of the show. So parents know us, and then even the other kids from school, when I drop off my kids, because the schools have students who are older as well. Some of them know us as well. So we have to lead by example. We have to be careful about what we say and what we do, and those are the values that are taught by parents. A lot of times you learn these kind of behaviors from the household that you grew up in, from your mom, from your dad, and these were some of the things that they really instilled in us. So when you see it happening in other places, especially people who don't really have strong family values, you could be really reckless
Yes.
without thinking about all these other things.
Yeah. So you put also a lot of focus on how you children behave, how they speak to people. All this is part of your, I would say.
I think lead by example,
background.
you know.
Yes.
You have to show, you know, the kids are very good. They pick everything up.
Yes.
You know, they're like sponges. So, you know, if you're seeing certain things going on all the time around you, you're going to grow up and that's going to be your behavior as well.
Right.
You know? And I
Yes.
really do believe that most of the time it is that. I mean, it's pretty we're getting deep into like psychology and stuff like that, but really like people behave a certain way because of, you know, their environment that they grew up in. So that starts making you think about how I'm
get
going to
it.
act
Yeah.
around my own kids, right?
Yes. That's very interesting because I would say your performances are in front of thousands of people, right?
Yeah.
And then in the same time you have to lead a family, which is I would say completely contrast of emotions somehow, right?
Yeah.
How do you handle on the one side that pressure in for if there is any pressure in performing in front of thousands of people, and on the other side balancing the needs of your family?
You can make it work as long as you you know, understand what each one is and how they can like work side by side together. It can easily work as long as you know, you want to do it right. If you want to be reckless and like, you know, go down the route where you know, you can't even do these shows in front of your family and your kids and all that, like it's just not gonna work, you know.
Do you want your family to be there on the show?
Yeah, my kids were at my last show. You know, we did a show at the Coca-Cola Arena. It was for this, you know, a big tennis game that was going on. So we had like the show that we were doing over there, and they were there.
Yes.
You know, I had them up in the booth. They were jumping around laughing. You know, they can't come to all of them, but they can come to some of them. And that's what I want. That's what I like anyways, you know. I want to do like more like shows where they can come to. I think it'd be pretty cool for them to see.
But when you are performing in front of those many people, now except of your family, for example, Coca-Cola Arena, 17,000 capacity. Before you go out and perform, maybe let's say 10 seconds before, how do you manage that? Is it a mind? Because you need a very strong mindset to go and perform in front of so many people. Do you think about mistakes? Do you think about if something goes wrong, or you just go ahead and do it?
No, I mean, definitely not thinking about any of those things. I'm thinking just really what song I'm going to start with, because I want to like make sure like we start in the right place, and then like really the first like couple of songs I'll try out, and then I'll get a feel of okay where we're heading with this night. And no, this like, you know, it's like the shows here they're like home for me. Like it's like playing for a home team, you know.
Yeah.
So they're always very comfortable for me. And when you do international shows, same thing. You know, you get a feel of what the city is like and what kind of music they want. You know, we did a show like I think there was like 20,000 people in Romania. They had like 40,000 or 45,000 a day coming in and out of the whole festival.
I think if you speak about the Untold Festival.
Festival,
this was, as far as I read and saw, it was the main stage closing, which is just for the audience. It's, I believe, the most important set in a festival.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So all the lights are on you, literally.
Yeah, and you know, last year I had the closing set of the set on this main stage on the final day. So this was like
This is insane. Yeah.
last, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember who was playing before me? Was it last year? Armin or Martin?
I think Martin.
Last year's Martin, this year.
So Martin Garrix was playing before me.
Yeah.
And then I was playing after Martin Garrix, and this was like the last day, closing day, and everyone was there. And the schedule had ran a little late because of one of the artists that was supposed to perform earlier. So I was like a little bit like 20 minutes later.
Yes.
But my set was like at 5 a.m. So by the time my set started, it was dark. When it finished, it was bright.
It's insane.
And then my last song that I played, which was my own song, is called Tu Vida. It was like they had people on the camera like crying. It was such an like emotional moment, and to be able to close the main stage on the last day was such a big thing. Every set is different, to be honest with you. Closing on the last day is different from closing on the day before, or closing, you know, like playing before the artist or after the main artist, or you know, it all makes a big difference.
I mean, closing the last set is one thing. playing after Martin Garrix, another thing.
Yeah.
And I would say having his childhood pictures on the background is the next level.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I saw these pictures.
You saw it?
I saw the event. I got goosebumps.
Yeah.
And like I'm not you, imagine.
Yeah.
So
That was pretty cool. That was
I haven't seen that before, by the way, in any artist. And this gives gives a better connection audience to DJ, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, getting those pictures and I was able to animate them and put them up on the screen was pretty cool. And I had my little sister was there, my younger brother was there, and my nephew was there as well, my brother's kid. So they were watching all that as well. So it was a pretty cool, special moment, actually.
Yeah, I believe that. So all your family came, or not your closest people came to support you.
Yeah.
This is insane.
Yeah.
Not everybody can do that.
Yeah,
or can say that.
It's cool. It's nice to have them over there. Like it's important to have family around always.
Yes. See, I want to understand one thing about you. It's a bit of a tricky question, I would say.
Okay.
But I would like to understand what is the most common misconception people have about your profile, I would say.
I think probably the most common misconception is a lot of it has to do with Dubai Bling, because people don't understand with a show like that. I know it's reality TV, but to a certain degree, like we have no control over that the narrative or the way the story comes out. So
100% authentic, right? Kind of.
Yeah. You have to, I think, the best way is, the problem is there's a lot of real stories in there as well. So it's hard for me to, really say that, but I think it is what it is. I've stopped trying to defend or explain it. It's a very hard thing to explain. It's real, but it's not real, So I go out and try and do podcasts like this just to have deeper conversations where I can really explain what is going on in my mind, who I am, what I do, where I grew up.
Because this is controllable. That is not controllable for you,
It's
right?
not only about controllable. I mean, I was never really. I don't think anybody even knows that I have 3 brothers and a sister. And I've been on that show for 3 seasons. Up until season 3, you didn't even know that my dad had a stroke, and that's what I was living with all 3 seasons. People weren't aware about even the businesses that I have or what I do. So. Or even what goes on in my daily life as well. We try to, obviously you see the kids on there, but we try to protect them as much as possible as well. So you don't really see what's going on, having 3 kids around the house too. So it's hard to say exactly what I said right now on a show like that, because it's just not going to make the cut.
Yes.
So like I said, I try to go on just to have deeper conversations, and at the end of the day, the people will make a judgment about you however you like or not. You just hope that they open their eyes and they make it more intelligently and are more aware of what's the actual truth.
Yeah, I believe at some point, of course, it's reality TV, yes, but it's also about the views, right? I mean, otherwise the show wouldn't go out.
Yeah.
If you don't get views, it doesn't make sense to perform.
It's a great show. I mean, it was,
people in Europe watch it, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, around the world, I've been stopped everywhere. Airports, toilets, trains, planes, swimming pools, with my kids in the pool. So it's a great show for sure.
Yeah. One of your quotes, though, in this show was, "Actions speak louder than words." How does that translate in your professional or maybe also private life?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I think it's a great phrase, and people can say whatever they want. I mean, this is the world that we live in. Words can mean one thing, but your actions always
will define you.
Yeah, and I think actions speak louder than words, because you can tell me that we're friends, but if you stab me in the back, then your action
doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
I get it.
And I think you can really tell a lot of people about their actions.
Yes.
If you pay attention to their behavior and in any form of confrontation, if like, you know, if you were getting into it, if you said some stuff and I said some stuff back and we just talk, it would get really ugly and really dirty. But if you just said something and I just stood back and quietly, and I just paid attention to your action, and I paid attention to what you're going to do next, because if you're doing it to me, you're going to do it to somebody else as well.
Yes.
So your actions spoke louder than your words, because you probably didn't even have the courage to say what you really feel. So you have to judge people on their actions, because
Yes.
people hide behind social media these days.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's also, I think, about authenticity somewhere, right? What you're doing should, or what you're saying should reflect what you will do. You cannot say tomorrow I will make the biggest show in Dubai
Yeah.
and postpone it every 6 months, right? Or every 3 months.
Absolutely.
It doesn't work like that, because people will lose trust on you.
Yeah.
So you should stay true to what you're saying. This is what you're maybe trying to say, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, authenticity plays a big role. I think just not only authenticity, but just like, I think people have a problem with confrontation,
Yes.
having conversations face to face and interactions. You know, people have a real problem with it, because this is the era that we live in. It's, you know?
One thing I learned in this country, I mean, I'm not long here, as I said, 1.5, 2 years. When you mean something, you have to say it up directly. You have to stay upfront and mention it to your to the respective person, because as you mentioned, speaking, texting, it does not bring you anything, right? At the end of the day.
No, not at all.
Like for example, in business, in let's go to corporate business.
Yeah.
Mails are fine, but if you don't get on a call, if you don't solve it, it's much more effective. This is what I'm trying to say, or not even on a call, face to face.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We're losing the element of
Yes.
interaction. You know, I think the closer we get back to it, I think it would help a lot.
I wanted to understand one thing. You're basically a very known DJ. Now you took the decision to perform in a reality show. A reality show can give you huge popularity, make you much more famous than you are in any example. But also there is also a downside that people kind of can misinterpret what you're saying, and it can go towards the other direction. So the risk is big. How did you think about that before you enter the show, or was it like a straight decision? It's an experiment. Let's do it.
I think I didn't think about it enough. And I think we didn't have enough guidance, and there was no examples to look at. And we were not paid well enough to seek
Understood.
good enough legal advice on what we were getting ourselves into. So
Yeah,
it's I don't.
I get your point.
I don't think anyone thought about it enough. I don't think anyone's thought about it enough
Yeah.
today as much as I have thought about it. And you know, I have, and I've just waited out, and I think it's a great question. I think and the answer is a pretty significant answer, saying that I don't. Me personally, and maybe I don't speak on everyone else's behalf, but me personally, I think we did not think about the consequences enough.
I mean, there is also a big hype. We saw how much traction the show gained. So
It's
You know
like
what I mean?
top 10 around the world,
Right.
number one in like I don't know how many countries, like
Yeah.
one of the biggest ever.
yeah, so I believe 99% of people who get an invite to that show, obviously everyone will do it, right? Without maybe do the whole math behind it, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I get people asking me all the time.
Yes.
You know, I was sitting in a coffee shop the other day. One
Yeah.
girl said, "Please introduce me to the Dubai Bling people."
This is insane.
Yeah, I mean, everyone would want to be a part of something like that, and it's quite ironic, because I don't understand why.
Don't understand why?
No,
Okay.
just from the inside, you know.
Yeah. I think once you have experienced the hype, you're looking at it from another angle, to be fair. If you haven't experienced that kind of hype in your whole life, maybe you want to experience it. You know
It's
what I mean?
it's a good observation. I think it's a very good
Right.
observation, because a lot of the people on the show have never really, I told you, like, I've had like multiple careers before I even started
Yes,
the show.
exactly. So you could see it more rational. This is what I'm saying. Or you're right now, like you have the media, you have the TV, you have the radio, you have the you are
The artists, yeah.
exactly. So you can judge based on your experience, and you have a huge experience. Someone who is maybe only in his apartment and at work is in a very closed world. So
Yeah.
he wants to see the lights.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
If that
100
makes sense, I'm trying to
No, I think it
explain.
makes a lot of sense. I mean, I know for a fact, like, some people on the show, they went to sleep with like 2,000 followers and woke up with 100,000. Like, it happened for some people. And some people who, like, no one knew who they were ever,
Yes.
suddenly got this power, and I can understand that could be an interesting, but you have to know how to control power, because power can be good and power can be evil
Yes.
too. So I think it's a great point, great observation.
Yeah.
I've never looked at it like that, but I think it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, thanks for that. I'm just saying what I observed. Like,
Yeah.
But as you mentioned, ego can destroy careers if you can't control it.
Oh man, ego is the enemy, and I've seen it over and over again, and I've had to experience it myself in my life as well, and in these circles and these like environments, you see it, at its peak.
Yes.
But you can't really do anything about it, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but the good thing is that sometimes you just have to sit back, because the ego eventually self-destructs. It doesn't last forever. I've seen it too many times.
It doesn't last forever. Yeah. I think your biggest enemy can be, if you can't control your ego at that level, this is the best, I would say, discipline trait you can have as an artist, to control your power, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Because like not to like to control your power kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, there's a big difference between strength and power.
Okay.
Yeah, I think people often confuse that, and when you
What is the main difference? Like,
well, when you're put in a position where you become influential,
yes,
you're given this gift, right?
correct.
And you can use this either as strength,
Yeah.
okay? And what do you do with the strength? You lift weights, you carry stuff, you feel better, or you get this power. What do you hear always, like, in these like villain cartoons, or the evil guy who's always trying to like get that thing is, I have the power.
Yeah,
the
okay.
power is all
Okay,
mine.
yeah.
They never say, hey, I have all the strength in the world.
You mean it? People can misuse it.
People can misuse it.
Got
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Very clear.
Yeah. Strength. I mean, that's what you need. You need a strong mind. You need a strong body.
And how to say also no to requests, because I mean the amount of requests you get must be insane. Like you need to, I think at some point you need to understand what goes with my values, and what do I need to push away.
I think that's another like pretty important part as well. And I think that comes down to the same thing as well. It's just about just deep values and what you have inside.
And I think this brings me to another question. You played music in your school's radio station.
Yeah.
And from there, you play in the Coca-Cola Arena.
Yeah.
Like, how does that feel?
Man.
Because you have the pictures in your mind, right?
Yeah. I probably have a picture somewhere at home too, but man, I was used to play these like few songs in our breaks on just to say that I was doing radio, and even like DJing. I only started DJing because I wasn't really like part of the cool kids in school. I wouldn't get invited to the parties, so I was like just playing some songs. And I remember just slowly learning, and like my first real club gig was I was in a box in the corner of a room and had a window that was closed. You couldn't even like see inside. Yeah,
It's insane.
come a long way. Yeah,
But you managed it, right? I mean, every weekend
yeah.
performances came, requests came. somehow. But I believe there are a lot of people who doubted you, because that, I think that comes out in your Kid from Dubai song.
Yeah.
That at the beginning, obviously not everybody believed in you.
I think there's just a combination of things, of just like non-believers, haters, and just people who have never, actively supported you. It could even be people around you, like friends and family as well. And sometimes like staying silent is as bad as not doing anything too. So in anything that you do, you're always gonna feel like some kind of like force that's gonna slow you down. It could be in the form of comments, it could be people, it could be doubters, it could be haters, it could be all that stuff.
Yes.
It could be just in results in what you're doing, right? I tried to do like even one of my like first songs that I ever did. It wasn't a great song. It didn't do so well. And people thought that, it was the end of my career, but it wasn't really, because it led to another thing. I got to another ad, and then that ad led to another brand deal, and this brand deal.
Somebody liked that other song.
I mean, I'm just not here to, I'm learning as I move along, and I want to try, and I'm expressing my creative freedom.
I think also there is a big way to go, right? It's about consistency. It's about what maybe opportunities arise. Tomorrow someone can come across the corner and say, hey, do you want to play at Tomorrowland? Might be, right?
Yeah, you never know. I always say, I always tell DJs, always play like someone's really important in the room, because you never know who could be listening.
Yeah. I would have one question as I would say, closing question. For the kids that are now in Dubai and are of the younger generation, basically, what is the one piece of advice you would give them to start their career and to follow the ones that want to follow a similar path as you did?
I would tell them to be real, be authentic, open your eyes. Whatever it is that you want to do requires a lot of persistency, and to be persistent and consistent in what you do, no matter what it is that you do. And there's a lot of distractions right now in this world. A lot of like stuff that you don't need to be a part of. Like even just social media can be distracting. I think you really have to escape like all this noise.
Say no to distractions, basically.
Say no to distractions. And really just like go within. I think the answers are within. And like if you spend certain amount of time on anything that you love doing, eventually you're going to become the master at it.
Yes, I think that's a closing quote. Spend enough time on everything you are doing. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much.
I really appreciate the trust and the participation. And see you on the next episode.